guys, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. First and foremost, if you haven't watched my previous video related to this one, go ahead, watch that first. Secondly, go ahead, like, subscribe, do all that stuff below. It helps me so much. Mainly, just want you guys to comment so we can get to talking, because as you know, if you have watched the other video to this, I have now found my new obsession. Hence why I have my little squishmallow here, because we're going on a ride. I am, for this video, I'm continuing on in the Magnolia Parks series. I guess the Magnolia Parks universe. Even though like it's Daisy Haites and Magnolia Parks, it's all part of the Magnolia universe. So just finished Daisy Haites, literally just edited this video. Well, just edited the last video. Girl, it's late, so we probably won't get any real reading done today. But I'm updating you because I am starting today, because before I go to bed I need to start, because the emotions, everything, super fresh, super high due to this book. I am just so obsessed. I am also going to be taking you along on this journey of my first tandem read. I will be reading these two books at the same time. They take place during the same timeline, so that's why you're able to tandem read. You can do that with the first book as well. I will share the screenshot that I found. So if you have not read any of these books, go ahead, just read them and then come back and find my videos. But continue if you have read the series, and comment below, talk to me about it. Or if you don't care about spoilers, you can continue this video. But if you care, please don't do it to yourself, because I am letting out all the spoilers in this video, same as the last one. I am just gonna be talking and talking. This right here, you can't see it at all. I don't know why. I will insert it in case you want it. I'll try to keep it up for a little bit on the screen so that you can see it. Screenshot it yourself. I did find this on TikTok. It is gonna have the girl's face on. It doesn't have our username, so let me see if I could find that video again, like it, and then mention her below, because I gotta give her credit for that, because I could not find that anywhere, so I gotta give her props for that. So according to this, I'm going to be reading, and this is perfect actually, because I have Magnolia Parks A Long Way Home on my Kindle, and I've been missing reading on my Kindle. So once I'm done on my Kindle, I'm just going to transfer over the highlights in here and annotate. I've got my annotating tabs already ready. I did highlight and annotate Daisy Haites, so I will be doing that with the next two books. But this book I'm going to be reading on my Kindle. I'm just going to transfer everything over. So we're going to start with The Long Way Home on my Kindle. I'm going to be reading chapters 1 and 2, and then I got to read chapters 1 to 7. So again, I'm going to insert it. Maybe I'll just keep inserting it throughout so you guys can kind of see, because it's also my first time doing a tandem read. So maybe if you're interested in doing a tandem read, you can see how I'm doing it. But really it's just following a chart. So I'm just going to keep referring to this chart as I go. So it's good to have those stopping points, like, okay, I know I'm reading chapter 1, 2, and then 1 through 7 here. And I'm just so ready. I got the annotating tabs for both books. Let's get into it. I am so excited. I'm trying to think if I want to put my headphones in and listen to some music, or put on a show. I'll probably put on Grey's Anatomy in the background, to be completely honest with you guys, because I could watch that show in my sleep. So let's get into it. Magnolia Parks, A Long Way Home. Okay, excuse everything right now. Everything right now. I was just laying down. But you know, I also was not about to update you guys at all. Like, you're literally just like sitting on my dresser right now. You were not about to get an update. I'm laying down doing my thing. So last night I finished the first 2 chapters of my tandem read of Magnolia Parks. Okay. So BJ has a new girlfriend. He has a new girlfriend, right? But the way it happened was like, it just kind of happened. Like, he didn't ask her. She just kind of like started saying that she was his girlfriend because they've been hanging out for so long. And she's Australian, so she doesn't really know how their world works. So she's like insanely jealous of Magnolia, of course. But him and Magnolia haven't spoke in like a year. She's been in New York for a year now. But she's coming home because her dad and the nanny are getting married. Her dad and the nanny are getting married. And BJ and his whole family are invited to the wedding, but the new girlfriend is not invited to the wedding. So she's a little upset about that. And yeah, Magnolia doesn't have a boyfriend or anything right now. She actually is now best friends with Tara, the girl she thought was sleeping with BJ in the first book. Oh yeah, if you don't know, spoilers. It will be in the description or somewhere else, because I just started talking because I was not, but like, look at my hair. I was laying down. I was not prepared to talk to you guys right now. And it's really crazy because I am just now beginning chapter 1 of the first book, because last night I fell asleep and I knew I was only going to read the first 2 chapters. So I'm starting Daisy Haites now for the tandem read. So now I have to read chapters 1 through 7. So I wasn't even going to update you about that because like that wasn't even really too shocking. The Magnolia Parks whole thing wasn't too shocking. Like, she doesn't have a new boyfriend. She was messing with Tom. That didn't work. Then she started messing with Rush, Tom's best friend. They ended that. So she's just been alone in New York, trying not to be alone, basically. And now Tara is her best friend. And Tara came to New York to get Magnolia to fly back to London for the wedding. So nothing too shocking there happened. BJ's chapter was a little bit shocking with him saying he has a new girl, but he's still obviously not over Magnolia at all. Like, he keeps saying he's not over her. This new girl's nice, but she's not Magnolia, okay? So the most shocking part about that was that the dad was marrying the nanny. My jaw hit the floor for that one. I was like, woo. We're gonna get, I feel like we're gonna get some good quotes from these books. These are gonna be good. I still feel like the first Magnolia Parks is my favorite Magnolia Parks as of right now. But I feel like the second, Daisy Haites Great Undoing, I feel like this is gonna really be my favorite Daisy Haites books. I don't know why I said that. I guess because the reason why I even came here to update y'all so early on in this, because I literally just started, so I really was not planning on updating you maybe till I finish the chapter 7, so that you guys can know how I'm feeling about the tandem read. I think tandem reads are awesome so far because I'm getting answers to I'm reading at the same time, and I'm like getting answers now to like, where are they? What have they been up to? Because she hasn't been with them in a year. She hasn't talked to Christian in 10 months. So back to that. We are literally on the first page. The first page. And I closed the book. I should have recorded my reaction. I literally opened it and I roll over and rest my chin on his chest. I was like, his chest. I scroll down and see that it's Killian Tiller. I didn't even read the rest of it. I scroll I skimmed my eyes and I saw his name. Jaw to the floor, closed the book and said, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. And then I continue reading and she calls him her boyfriend. I close the book again. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. And then she asked something about her brother, and then he said that they took him off the cases to do with her brother because it's a conflict of interest because she is now dating the cop. Why did I not see this coming? I think because I had it in me too as well that they could not be together, because Daisy kept saying, you know, they couldn't be together. They couldn't have this normal life. But I should have known when at the end of the last book, we're going back, she said, I want to live a normal life. And then she saved him too she saved his life. Don't know if I mentioned that in the last book. I was trying to do fast recaps. I feel like I might have left that out, but she ended up saving his life. And so I knew he was gonna have a thing for her. I just didn't know that they were gonna get together in this book. Didn't know, didn't see it coming, did not see it coming. So I literally just want to binge these 2 books for the next couple of days, and I can't realistically do that. I am off tomorrow, but I cannot realistically binge unless I listen to audiobook, but I'm not gonna like, how does one go back and I mean, you could, right? Technically you could, but I'm not going to because that just feels like work. That feels like a lot of work. It just feels easier to Kindle book, especially because I'm highlighting and underlining. Otherwise, it would have been fine to just book and audio, but like both on audio, that would be a little bit insane. Plus, I really don't want to have my earbuds in anyway. I do have other headphones that go over the ears, so those have been nice because I did start another book on audio, but yeah, that just sounds insane. So we're gonna continue. Sorry I look cray, but again, I was laying down, so my hair is like is in a position, you know, if you know, you know. It was in a worse position to be completely honest. Okay, y'all. Okay, so at first I started doing this tandem read, and I didn't think that I was gonna like it at first, but I'm loving it. I definitely think there are some pros and cons to it. Like, for example, I just finished chapters, what was it? 7 through 21, according to the guide. Chapters 7 to 21 of The Long Way Home on my Kindle. And so now I'm going back into The Great Undoing. So I updated it on Goodreads, and it looks like I'm further into The Great Undoing, so that confused me, for one. But a thing that kind of like made me be like, oh, I don't know if I like this at all, really, is that it feels like once you kind of get into the one story, then you're switching over to the next one. So I can see how, because I didn't even see at the top that the person who made the guide said it was better for a reread. I paid no attention to that, and I just was like, let me go for it. I do think it would be good for a reread, but I also do think that it's good for your first time reading it, because like I've been anxious and trying to read these books. Like, I want to get into it and like know everything. So I love that fact of how, you know, it just ends up working out. So one chapter they were talking about the wedding in here, and Then you get more wedding in here. You get one chapter was BJ's point of view about like how Julian was when they met up at Christian's bar, because he opened a new like bar club night something like that, and Julian Haites was there. He was flirting with Magnolia. So you get BJ's point of view, and then you also get his point of view and how he's just kind of like, I can't stand BJ, and Julian basically feels like BJ treats Magnolia like trash and that she worships the ground that he walks on. And he doesn't know why she does that, and like for some reason he just like really likes her because she's kind of like doesn't want him. So it's kind of like that, like she doesn't want him, she just wants BJ, and he wants her knowing that she just wants BJ. So I also read the back of The Great Undoing, and I just realized that they said everything gets more complicated when beautiful broken-hearted socialite Magnolia Parks enters the scene and Julian finds himself entangled with her. And the whole time, I'm definitely gonna have to do a reread. The series is gonna live rent-free in my head for the longest time. I didn't realize in the previous books, like there are text conversations, and so one number he's texting is like a random 44 number. That was Magnolia Parks. I don't know why I didn't think that that was Magnolia, the little 44 number he was texting, but it came out here that that was the number he was texting, and I was like, oh my gosh, why did I not see the signs? The signs were there, didn't see them. But now I'm going back into The Great Undoing, and I'm a little bit sad that I'm going back into The Great Undoing, and I feel like this happens every time I have to switch, but at the end I end up loving it. But going in, I'm kind of sad that I had to switch and stop. So I think that's like a con for the Tandem read. But we found out here in Magnolia Parks, the long way home, that when BJ was 17, about to be 18, and Magnolia was like 15, about to be 16, something like that, they ended up getting pregnant, and they ended up deciding that they were going to keep the baby, but she had a miscarriage. So those chapters just really had me like about to bust out in tears, but I was at work reading some of it, so I was like, I can't really bust out in tears right now. And then I read some when I got home, and I was like, I can't bust out in tears right now either, because like I just cannot bust out in tears. But oh my gosh, I was so heartbroken for them, because I'm like, okay, it really makes sense, especially because they've been talking about December 3rd. And like the last book, like everything is just kind of like adding up, because in the last book they meet up by this tree, and I'm like, what is the significance of this tree? What's the significance of this date? Because I keep saying December 3rd, December 3rd, December 3rd. December 3rd is when she had to have the DNC, because they lost the baby, because the baby, there was no movement. So they offered her to either have the DNC or to just get induced and then have the baby that way, because she was a little bit further along. But she also wasn't showing, because like she's like super skinny, and she has like a tilted uterus apparently. So she was, I guess that like affects if you show or not. Did not know that, and that's crazy because I work in women's healthcare, but I didn't know like a tilted. I just thought like if you were skinny, you were skinny, and sometimes it just took you longer to show. Shows how much I really know. I mean, yeah, so we're going back into The Great Undoing, and so what's kind of going on there is that one, we are getting more of Julian's perspective that I'm loving, because if you watched my last vlog that was just about Daisy Haites, basically, I was upset because I was like, you need to give me more. She definitely delivered. It's like she read my mind, even though these books were way out before I started reading them, hence why I'm able to read like all of these right now back to back. But I was like, she read my mind, because Julian is giving in this book his perspective. You're getting his point of view. You're getting the fact that he likes Magnolia, and you're like, what? Like, what is gonna happen? Give me more. So I'm lying. I actually am excited to go back into this. This starts with Christian's perspective, and basically Christian and Daisy, they still love each other, but Daisy's in this relationship with Tyler. the cop. And so now she's kind of scared because what happened is they were sending threats, or not threats, but someone sending her flowers. And so the last flowers she received were daisies, and her name is Daisy. And the flowers were like malted, like messed up, like damaged, like they're trying to send a message basically to Daisy. And we don't know who's trying to send this message, but I have a feeling, like I just have a really bad feeling about the cop. I just do. Like, she also has him on this high pedestal where she's just like, he's just so good. He's like so good, so pure, right? And I'm like, no, something is, I don't know why I'm like this. I guess maybe because like mystery thrillers, I'm just like, there is like a twist in there, and this cop is not like, well, not like he's a bad cop, but like I bet he wanted her to move back in with Julian so that he could get more dirt on them, so that he could get promoted, because basically he had to kind of resign from what he was doing or any cases dealing with Julian because he started dating Daisy. And I feel like that was kind of on purpose though, so that way he could get closer to her and kind of like, but I just feel like something is gonna happen, and like it's either that or they're just gonna break up because he can't handle being around criminals because he's just too good, as Daisy puts it. But I just feel like she's putting him way up here, and I'm not. I should have just put you guys on the stand because I'm talking to you longer than I thought I would talk to you, and now my arms are hurting and I'm just going back and forth, so I'm sorry for all the movement of the camera. But I just feel like there's a reason why Daisy's putting an emphasis on why he's too good. I feel like he is gonna end up betraying her in some type of way, but obviously I think she's gonna get back with Christian. I just don't know how, because Christian has made it very clear that he still loves her and she still loves him too. Like, it's still in the back of her mind, but like she's with the cop now. She's trying to have a normal life. So now she's back with Julian because of the threat. And what really did it was that someone tried to her, right? But Romeo, lucky us, Romeo was there, and he was like, not today. So they missed and they didn't get her, but they got this girl she's going to school with. So now she's sad because not only does she have to go back to living with her brother and give up her normal life, but now she also has to take a semester off of school because this happened at the school and her classmate got because of this stuff going on. So now she's like taking a semester off, which is going to put her back, and she just wants to be a doctor. So she's really sad because she wants this normal life, and Christian is kind of just trying to let her have her space and do her thing, but he really still loves her. And he's dating someone new called Vanna, who is like really annoying and kind of a bitch, and no one really likes her, and they're just like, why are you with her? And he's just like, I don't know. He's basically just passing time with her. Like, no one likes her. We don't like her, right? So that is where we kind of are at with the great undoing. Is now Daisy is home back with her brother, and she's not happy about it, and Christian is happy about it because now he gets to see Daisy again. But he's also still trying to give her his space so she can be normal with her normal boyfriend, even though he still loves her and he would want nothing more than for her to not be with his boyfriend anymore and to be with him, which I agree, because I don't like the cop boyfriend. I'm telling you, I feel like something is off with him, and if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong and I'm gonna be very, very shocked, but something is just not giving. And then, oh, I guess I didn't really update you much on this either. Magnolia Parks, I kind of just updated you guys on the miscarriage, but yeah, BJ has been dating this new girl. I don't know if I told you this in the class clip, but he's been dating this new girl, and he's kind of going back and forth with his feelings because he still obviously loves Magnolia, but like, she's supposed to be going back to New York and not staying in London. But she ends up staying in London. That's where we kind of ended off here. Is she is ending up staying in London because she got a job opportunity that is a really good job opportunity that's going to bring her back to London, and she accepted. And so she still loves BJ. She realizes that she still loves him. So she's kind of just been like sad and drinking, and he's been going to therapy, and he obviously still loves her, and he's trying to be a better version of himself. And I guess he's struggling because part of being a better version of himself is to not like mess up things with Jordan, not to cheat on her. But I just think he should call it because he's obviously in love with her. So I'm like, if you know you're obviously in love with her, just call it, because you're like the things he will say sometimes is like, I don't like the things he says sometimes about the girl is like, you're kind of with her just to pass time because you don't really like her. Like you mentioned that she's like more chill and laid back than Magnolia. Magnolia is more of a handful, but like you also don't like that stuff about this new girl, that's chill, because you know she has you in bed by 11. You don't want to be in bed by 11. You're a night owl. You don't like that. You don't like waking up with her at 7 a.m. to go get coffee because you're a night owl. You don't want to wake up at 7 a.m. to get coffee. Yeah, she makes you do those things. So I'm just like, where do you think this relationship is going? Like, where do you think the relationship is going? Let's just break up with her. Just be done. So it's getting good. We like it. We are now 23% through this book, and we are, I believe, 20 or so percent through, and I guess it's just because this is shorter, which I didn't even realize. And I know that there's supposed to be more Daisy Haites books, but I'm confused. I guess I'll understand more once I'm done why this is gonna get 2 more books, but Magnolia only got 1 more book. So after this, I'm reading the last Magnolia Parks book, but then there's supposed to be 2 more Daisy Haites. So kind of confused, like why there's 2 more Daisy Haites and not just 1 more Daisy Haites. I mean, I'm not complaining because it's more content for me to read, but I'm just wondering, like, why can't we get like another Magnolia as well? And I guess I won't realize that until I finish The Great Undoing and the last Magnolia. Then I think I will like understand why we're not, because I guess maybe their story just wrapped up sooner. I guess that's the only thing I can think of, but it is still called the Magnolia Parks universe, so I would think that their story wouldn't have wrapped up sooner. Oh, hold on. I have the picture on my phone here. So I have to read 14 to 19. I just read chapters 7 to 21, and I had to read chapter 14 to 19 in The Great Undoing. So it's like, at first the chapters I was reading together were shorter, and now they're kind of getting longer. Like I'm reading more chapters of each book, which I also feel like I'm really enjoying for the tandem read. So yeah, I just updated Magnolia Parks, and I am on page 147. So according to Goodreads, I am 22% in. I don't know why I showed you that, like you can see. And Daisy Haites, I'm 24% in. And my only thing is, I guess because the book is shorter. Oh, I'm not on the Kindle. I'm kind of ramble here because I do need to read, so. Okay, you guys, this is why. Okay, again, there are going to be some spoilers. I don't know if I'm doing full spoilers because I don't know where I left off with you guys. I think I was still like freshly just starting my tandem read of Magnolia Parks and Magnolia Parks, The Long Way Home, and Daisy Haites, The Great Undoing. So I'm tandem reading them. So there are going to be some spoilers, if not full spoilers. So again, if you made it here thus far and you don't know, now you know. But again, so this is why I hate, it's a love-hate relationship right now with this tandem read, right? Because I feel like I get to a point and then I have to switch. So the point that I got to in Magnolia Parks is I'm now on to part 2, right? So up until this point, Magnolia and BJ have kind of been back and forth, bickering with each other, right? So it's Tara's birthday weekend, and Jonan, he, because you know she has a thing with Henry and Jonan, so he books a birthday retreat, and it's just been bad. But basically it's just been bad, to sum it up, between Magnolia and BJ. They've been just going tit for tat, right? And so she, before the trip, she like runs to his house because like she is hanging out with Christian Henry and Tara, and they're like, yeah, you should tell him that you love him because he doesn't know, right? Magnolia's in her head like, how does he know? Like, he should know. He should know that I love him, right? But no, he doesn't. Like, he, in his head, his mind, it's like he's never going to be good enough for her and that she's always just going to leave. So she runs to his house, tells him to come downstairs, and tells him that she loves him. He says nothing. He says nothing. So of course he's now like upset because he was kind of just like, well, why did you tell me that? And I literally, oh my gosh, this is why I gotta start like recording myself reading. But I really honestly have not picked up my book or my Kindle. I've just been listening to audiobooks because I've just been like cleaning, trying to figure out some other stuff. So audiobooks have kind of been my like best friend these last couple of weeks. That's literally how I've been doing any reading. So excited to actually be picking up my Kindle and a physical book again right now. But she tells him this and he's still withdrawing. And I should have recorded my reaction because I read this yesterday. I just kind of got back into it yesterday, so I didn't think to really record. I never really think to record my reaction, you guys. I'm so sorry. But I literally was just like, you idiot. Like, why couldn't you have just been like, I love you? Like, you've been talking, like, this is basically what you've been wanting. You've been wanting to be back with her. You love her. And you idiot, BJ, you idiot, right? And so they go on this birthday trip and she's giving him the cold shoulder basically the entire time because obviously he said nothing. She said, I love you. He said nothing, right? She gives him the cold shoulder. And then, oh my God. They kind of start talking a little bit. And so then BJ is like, I don't want to go home. Like, I want to spend more time with her because, you know, we're kind of talking again. This is going good. Like, you know, I don't want to go home. And Joan's like, what? He's like, I don't want to go home. So he slashes his own tires to his car and he's like, oh yeah, we got a flat. And Tara's just like, well, like, why don't you just change it with the spare? And he's like, oh, the spare is done. Like, it's messed up too. So they end up catching like a taxi or whatever to a hotel. And then they get to the hotel and BJ's like, I'll pay you, to like the guy checking in, I'll pay you like £1,000 if you say that there are no rooms available. And they're just like, John's just looking at him like, what? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And so they finally like, so then this whole time I'm just like, BJ, you fucking idiot. You idiot. So they get this room together and she's trying to be as far away from him as possible, basically, because she's like, I told you I love you and you didn't reciprocate it. So what do you want from me, right? Like, what do you want from me? Essentially, they end up like going back and forth again, and then they finally just end up sleeping together. And so the next morning comes and Magnolia is like on cloud 9 because she's like, okay, we're gonna be back together. Like, F Jordan, like, BJ is mine, we're back together. And then Joanna makes this dumb comment, like basically saying Magnolia is like the other woman. And so Magnolia like starts freaking out. And then BJ, his dumb self, makes a comment making it seem like cheating is just like whatever thing. And as we know, he cheated on Magnolia and that's why they're no longer together. So he makes this comment like, oh, it's no big deal that I cheated on her. So she starts spiraling and that leads into a big fight. And then he doesn't text her the next day. He goes home and he still doesn't break up with his girlfriend. Instead of breaking up with his girlfriend, he sleeps with his girlfriend. Fast forward to that night. They're at the club and BJ doesn't see Magnolia creep up behind him. He's talking to Joan and Joan's like, yeah, so you ended things with Jordan, right? He's like, no, actually I ended up sleeping with her. And Magnolia's like, you what? you what? And he's just like trying to apologize to Magnolia, and Henry ends up getting her off the bathroom floor. Like, you're Magnolia Parks. You're not gonna be in the club bathroom floor crying over somebody. Get up, like pick your head up. I'm like, oh. Henry is such a good, like, he is such a good friend. Like, their friendship is so cute. And it's so funny because like BJ and Henry are brothers, but like he's not gonna let, like he's not here for it. And he still remains a good friend to Magnolia, which I think is really cute. But now I'm at the dilemma of I have to switch because it's a tandem read, right? So now I'm ending on part 2. So now we're on to part 2, and okay. So yeah, before we even got to part 2, Magnolia like storms out. Well, to end the part 1, going on to part 2, Magnolia storms out and texts a random number, and she says, "I'm going to Central Park." So now I'm just like, this whole time she's been talking about Central Park, has she really just been talking about Julian? Because that's the random number. So, and then on the back of the blurb in Daisy Hates Great Undoing, it literally says, everything gets more complicated when beautiful, broken-hearted socialite Magnolia Parks enters the scene and Julian finds himself entangled with her. So is this the start of their entanglement? I'm now on chapter 22, page 153 of Daisy Hates the Great Undoing, but it starts off in Christian's point of view, and I'm like disappointed. So disappointed that it starts out on Christian's point of view for this tandem read. I'm like, why couldn't it have started off on Julian's point of view? Like, we just ended with like, what? I mean, it's gonna make sense. Like, it is gonna make sense because all of it does end up making sense. But this is the hate part of the tandem read. It's like, once I get somewhere in the one book, I'm switched over to the next book, and then it may take like a couple chapters or something like that to, well, not really, a couple times it worked out perfectly, and a couple times like this, it like, it doesn't go directly into it. Like, it starts off with Christian's point of view, and I'm like, okay, so we're definitely not going straight into like what happened here. And now I have to read Daisy Hates the Great Undoing from chapter 22 to 24. So it's not that long either. I just realized that, like, I'm not even 50% through. I'm not even halfway through either book, but that's not a lot. That's not bad. I can read chapter, I'm like over here like stressing, like what's going on? But I feel like the story is, like, I feel like it is better this way. Like, even though the top of it says that it's not recommended for the first time read, I think I recommend it because I feel like I am enjoying it so much. I've been missing the fact that I haven't been physically able to pick up this, and every time I get back in here, I'm loving it. So I just can't, I kind of feel like I don't want to finish it. So maybe that's also why I'm like doing it a little bit slower, is because I'm not ready to find out what I'm about to find out, but at the same time I want to know. You know, like it's one of those things where you like, you want to know, but like you don't want to know because you don't want to like be done. I mean, with that being said, I still like read this at the perfect time because Into the Dark just came out, but like came out this year. So like I did read it at a good time, because imagine reading these last 2 books and then having to wait for Into the Dark. But again, after I read Into the Dark and the Great Undoing, I'm gonna have to wait, I don't even know, maybe next year or the year after that for the next Daisy Hates book. So I mean, I already know I'm gonna do a reread. Like, I highlighted, annotated, like, I'm loving it. I'm obsessed. So I highly recommend the tandem read. In case you can't tell, I recommend the tandem read. So we're gonna get back into Daisy Hates here. Oh, and I haven't updated you on what's going on in here. So basically, I think I told you, Daisy ends up moving back in with her brother because someone's out to get her, and so her and her cop boyfriend are not gonna last, basically. Yeah, I don't think there's really been much of an update with them because the storyline has kind of been the same. Like, I don't think her and the cop boyfriend are gonna last. I think something, like, I still feel like something's fishy about him. Can't put my finger on it, but, like, you know, he might just be a good guy and I just might not like him just because I don't like him. And I know she's not gonna end up with him. Like, it's not gonna work. They're not gonna work. So I'm like, maybe just because I have that in the back of my mind, I just don't like him and I don't see the point of her dating him. So I'm just like reading this one and I'm like, I'm definitely still loving Magnolia Park's books more than Daisy Haites, although I do still like Daisy Haites. But I think I'm definitely more of a Magnolia girl than a Daisy Haites girl. Yeah, the cop is irritating me. Like, I'm ready for the chapters for him to go. I'm ready to see what happens because I feel like he's gonna pull some shitty ass shit. I don't trust him. And so that, I feel like, has me on the edge of my seat with this book, is that I just don't trust him. I'm just waiting for it to end, waiting to see for what he does. I feel like he's gonna pull some shady ass shit that has to do with Julian. Of course, I feel like it's not gonna be towards the end because, like, the end usually is like a big pile of like, oh shit. Especially with the last Daisy Haites books, it was just like, oh my god, why? Like, why did all of this happen? Oh my god. So I'm waiting for all of that to uncrumble there, and then I will have more of an update on what's going on with Daisy Haites. But yeah, Magnolia Parks is already getting into it, but I feel like that's kind of her whole book is because they're always back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. These Haites, there's just moments of, like, I feel like calm or more nothingness. Like, she's still back and forth with Christian. They're like kind of on better terms now, but then she still has a cop boyfriend that's in the way. So I feel like her stuff doesn't really pop off until the very end. Like, some interesting stuff happens, but like things don't really pop off till the very end. Here it's like non-stop toxic back and forth, back and forth. So maybe that's why people, like, if you don't like the toxic back and forth, well, why are you reading the series in the first place? Because this is all toxic. But if you don't like that, you probably don't like Magnolia Parks, because it's just like back and forth consistently, where you're like, oh my god, what the fuck. And Daisy Haites is more like there's stuff going on, but like it really just, at the end you're like, whoa, like what, like what, like. As you can see, my hair has changed, I feel like, a bunch of times during this vlog. It is a whole new month. It is a whole new month. It's actually after my birthday as I'm filming this, so I just filmed another video. I'm kind of trying to play catch up a little bit. What happened was, as I was going to edit this vlog, because this vlog is basically edited except for this part here that I'm about to insert, hence why I'm wearing the same outfit as another video, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. I recorded this already, actually. I go to insert said videos, said clips into this video. There's no sound. There is no sound. I was literally talking for like 35 minutes. And there was not a single sound. I think I just quit after that. I quit. I was like, I'm done. I quit. I'm not a YouTuber. How did I record such a long ass outro? Not a single word. Not a single word was heard. Here we are. I am finally wrapping it up. We have completely finished this, and we have been done with this for weeks now. I also did finally put my ratings in on Goodreads because I was waiting to put my ratings in, and then that also reminded me that I have not wrapped up this video. It's fully edited, but it's not wrapped up. So I'm gonna wrap it up as quick as possible here. So Daisy Haites, we loved her. We loved this one more than the first Daisy Haites. So The Undoing, I see why y'all love Daisy. This was definitely like a 4 or 5. I'm not even gonna do decimals, just 4 or 5. Some days it's a 5, some days it's a 4-ish, almost 5. Not like a 4, like almost 5. You know what I'm saying? Like it's 5, but sometimes it's a little bit less, depending on the day, But I really did love this, mainly because we get a lot more of Julian in this book, to be completely honest. That's why I ate this up, because we get his point of view. He falls in love with Magnolia. With the tandem read, that was genius, because I'm going back and forth between here and here. This isn't annotated because, as you see in the previous clips, I read this on my Kindle, so I will have to go back and annotate this, but it just worked out better for the tandem read. So when I read it again next time, I probably will tandem read it again, because this is definitely going to be something that I reread. I understand now why Sarah Crowley is obsessed with this series. Like, this is amazing. Like, it's truly, truly amazing. I still need to finish Into the Dark. Oh, I'm kind of scared to read Into the Dark now, knowing what I know, which I'm going to tell you, because like I said, this is a spoiler vlog. So I love this one more because we got more of Julian, and I feel like I'm a Julian girl. I mean, we all know that it was obviously going to be Magnolia and BJ till the end, because in The Long Way Home, BJ does end up asking Magnolia to marry him after they kind of get their ish together, because they're throughout the whole book it's basically back and forth, and then she's with Julian, so they have a little thing. And in here I get hints that like she may have actually liked him a little bit more. Like, if she wasn't fully in love with BJ, like if that wasn't holding her back, then I could see her with Julian. But at the same time, they weren't meant to be. But they were, because he completely fell in love with Magnolia, and my heart literally breaks for them, because what happens at the end, because we're gonna wrap the spoiler up, is basically throughout this whole book, Christian and Daisy's point of view is kind of like whatever to me, honestly. It sucks to say, but it is kind of like, because you know, she is with the cop, and I mentioned it before that I thought the cop was sus, but he actually, well, I don't know yet, because there's gonna be another one. So I still feel like he's sus, and yes, I just didn't like the cop. I just didn't like the cop because I knew that Daisy and Christian were in game, but she needed to get out of this relationship. So to get out of this relationship, she basically moves back in, and that's the downhill of that relationship as soon as she moves back in with her brother, because there's basically being a hit out on her. And so throughout this whole book, I feel like I loved Julian's point of view more, because he's falling in love with Magnolia, and then, you know, this is going on with his sister, where there's a hit out on her, so he has to be kind of like worried about his sister, and then he starts having to be worried about Magnolia being a target too, because he's falling in love with her. and like everybody can see it, and he thinks he's doing a good job like hiding the fact that he's in love with her. He's not. Everyone can see it. Like, he gets a threat from the family, why can't I think of their names? But he, in the last book, if you remember, or if you read, even if you haven't watched my vlog, if you read, then you know what I'm talking about. He hired this family to do a job for him, and then Daisy ends up shooting that person who's on the job. Kind of starts a war because that family is now after, or we're still assuming that it's them, but I'm pretty sure it is the Macmillan family. So they're after Daisy basically because she shot him. So we've come to find out that this woman is actually their aunt. Like, it'd be helpful if I could think of her name. But the main lady of the gang is the aunt, and it was one of her men. And Daisy doesn't know that that's the aunt, but Julian knows that that's the aunt. And so she sends a little message like, oh yeah, you know, like, why don't you let me see Daisy? And he's like, you're not gonna see Daisy, like, no. And then she, as they're having this conversation, she sends him a message basically saying that she knows about Magnolia. So he, of course, starts freaking out, and he's still in denial that he loves her. And then he finally realizes that he does love her, like, towards the very end, because he just doesn't know what to do without her. And he kind of does this whole thing where he breaks up with her, or he gets her to end it by kind of like cheating, even though they're not in a relationship. They're just doing the do. And he kind of gets her to end whatever they're doing by being with another girl, like, in plain sight. And he does this because he wants it kind of like off track that he is in love with her, because he doesn't want anything to happen to Magnolia. And then something does happen to Magnolia. She gets in a car crash. Not even a car crash, because they purposely hit her. Because now there's a hit on Magnolia. Like, he was sent flowers. Julian was sent Magnolia flowers. So he knew that they were coming for her. And he had a tracker on her. So that's how he found her. And when he found her, they rammed into her car from like the side and from the back. And so after that, they have to flee, basically. They have to flee. Him, Daisy, and his people flee because there is now a whole war. Interesting thing that happened in Christian's perspective here is that, you know, he's also part of a gang, I guess, because his family does that stuff too. And so his mom is now like in a coma because there's now like an all-out like war, like all-out like hit, like everybody can get it basically from the Macmillan family. And so now mom is in a coma, and so Christian's dealing with that. Now he's having to deal with the fact that Daisy is having to flee with her brother, so nothing happens to Daisy. And I think that's really where Daisy and Christian are at, is that they finally decided to be back together. Everything seems to be going good. There's like a little drama with like a sex tape being released with Christian's old girlfriend, and she ended up releasing it, Vanna. And that's irrelevant because we don't like her anyway. And I just feel like their plot in this book was just like, you know, there's like a little drama here and there. It didn't really pop off until the end with Daisy having to flee and his mom being in a coma. Other than that, I feel like this book was, their dynamic was kind of like to get back together, but then they got to break up. It was mainly about Julian, and I feel like that's why the tandem read works perfectly, because this is mainly like a Julian book with hints of Christian and Daisy, in my opinion. Someone may sum it up a little bit better than that, but summed up in my opinion, this is basically a Julian book. We're getting Julian, and I asked for that in the last vlog, and I feel like it was delivered. and it's appreciated. This book, of course, BJ and Magnolia, they're back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. He has a little girlfriend here, which I've mentioned before, but to sum it up, he basically tells Magnolia to break up because they're not together, Julian, after the whole thing, and that they were going to be together, or they were going to be friends. And Magnolia's upset because they're like friends, and she's like, why do I need to be your friend? Why are we not back together? And I was like, girl, this is just like, y'all need to work. Like, I really appreciated BJ's character in this because he showed that he's willing to do the work. Like, he's willing to put the work in to be with Magnolia forever. Like, he's starting to see a therapist. Like, they're still toxic throughout the whole book, but he's willing to do the work because he wants to be with her. Magnolia doesn't, like, I feel like she still hasn't really seen like what she's doing that is also wrong, because he uses sex. Like, he has a lot of sex with like a lot of different people, and he uses that to kind of like not get over, but to get over on her, basically, to hurt her. And she uses just messing with guys to hurt him. But in this book, she's actually having sex a lot with like different people, and then just eventually just Julian. Because in the last book, she would date guys, but she wouldn't do anything. Now she's doing it, and now she sees, well, she doesn't see how like it can be casual, because she's still like very much in love with BJ this entire time. And so that kind of bugged me with Magnolia a little bit, is that she didn't really see the point he was making when he said, let's just be friends, because she was just like, well, why? Like, why? Like, I still thinking she doesn't really do anything wrong, but I mean, she does. So I can see why people say they don't care for her character. I still love the Magnolia books more, personally. So he tells her to do that, to break up, even though they're not together. So she ends it with him, and I mean, Julian expected her to end it with him anyway because of the stunt he pulled with the other girl. Like, he was trying to get it to happen, and then they end up running into each other, and he's always so close to telling her that he loves her, but he doesn't, because he just cannot be in love. He's breaking for Julian, but like, I know it's Magnolia and BJ all the way. But that doesn't change the fact that my heart is breaking for Julian as we do this wrap up. But yeah, he's so close to saying it, because he runs into them and he's like, well, how are things going? Because he kind of played it off like, oh yeah, well, I did that whole thing for you guys so that you can be back together. And Magnolia's like, really? Thank you. Like, girl, no, he didn't. Like, no, like, be for real. Like, no, he didn't just do that for you guys to be back together. No. So then they run into each other, and he's like, yeah, how's it going? You guys back together now? And she's like, no, we're friends. And he's like, what? I did that for what? I did that for what? So then, you know, they're still fighting and arguing. She gets into a car crash. She ends up going to the hospital, breaking her, like, her shoulder. And then BJ decides then and there that, like, everything, forget the whole friend thing. We're just gonna go straight into getting married. Like, he doesn't ask her at the house. Like, he asked her eventually, a little bit after the car crash, because he buys a house, and he's like, yeah, bought you this house, we're moving in together. So everything seems to be going great because they moved in together. He proposed. They have like a little party where they announce that they're getting married, and everybody's so excited and so happy. And I was like, oh yay, this is lovely. So why is there still more of this book? Because I basically was chapter like 68 or something like that. Something like that. There's still a lot more to the book. And I'm like, okay, so we're happy, they're engaged, they're moving in. What's next? Bridget is next. She was in the car accident with Magnolia. She was on the passenger side, and she was thinking that nothing was wrong with her. Like, everyone was thinking nothing was really wrong, because like nothing, she was visibly okay, like physically wise. Like nothing looked like she was wrong. She had no broken anything. So they were more focused on Magnolia and getting Magnolia treated for the car accident. That they, like, she didn't think anything was wrong either. So they're talking about it, talking about planning the wedding and the bridesmaids. And so she's like, yeah, whatever, like rubbing her temple like this. And I was like, are you okay? She's like, yeah, no, I'm just tired. I need to like take a nap or something, right? She goes to lie down and she never wakes up. She never wakes up. So I now understand why, because I didn't read the back of any of these books, but I did read the back of Into the Dark before I read these. So I don't know why I did that, but I knew they were gonna get married because I read the back of Into the Dark before I read these two books. Don't know why I did that. And so I knew that they were planning a wedding, but then I got a little bit confused because in the books things were like going good with Julian and Magnolia, but he wouldn't admit that he loved her. So I was like, wait, hold on. But then I'm like, girl, no, like you're being delusional right now. You know it's BJ and Magnolia. And then they were talking about something being tragic happened. Like they're dealing with tragic. I didn't think it was gonna be Bridget. I really did not think it was gonna be Bridget. And I'm really sad that it was Bridget. I was hoping that like, because we're getting more Daisy Haites books, so I was hoping maybe we get like a spin-off and we'd see more about Bridget. But now we're not. No, Bridget is no longer there. So yeah, I felt a lot of things when that one came up because I love Bridget as a character. It's definitely like BJ's therapist, like his real therapist. Like he went to therapy, but like Bridget was his real therapist. And I just thought that was so cute, like their little relationship that they have together. And yeah, so like I feel like I'm a little scared to read Into the Dark, even though the tragic happened here. I just know like the beginning will probably make me cry a lot because obviously they're gonna have to be talking about her death and they're gonna be planning like a funeral, but then they're also gonna be trying to plan a wedding. So I don't think that book is gonna be a little bit toxic, but I do think it's gonna be very sad because of the death of Bridget. And I will be reading Into the Dark soon. I might be doing that with an anticipated read. I still don't know because I started one anticipated read that I will talk about in that video, but that's kind of disappointing a little bit right now. But again, I will talk to you about that in that video. But this wraps up the little saga. I have one more book to finish. And then I'm done for now until they come out with another Daisy Haites. I feel like I'm already planning a reread. If you guys want reread vlogs, let me know because I am kind of itching to reread Fourth Wing. I might do it soon actually because they'll mark a year of that. I don't know if you, since I did this, I don't know if you would want a reread of this or maybe even how I annotate, because I do have to go back and annotate this, and maybe even just using this to like show you guys how I annotate. That would be fun to do. Maybe if you guys are interested, please let me know. So do all the YouTube stuff below, like, comment, subscribe. Go ahead, leave a little flower for our Daisy and Magnolia Parks tandem read. I actually am obsessed with tandem reads. I think they're amazing, especially in instances like this where these two books are the same time, like it's all happening at the same time. Crazy how her mind works. Crazy. Thank you for watching. Bye.